AG also complimented some players, Jack Campbell, Davenport, and Broderick. Let's start with what he said about Jack Campbell, because I know, Boone, you've been giving Jack Campbell some love here for a while.
Pro Bowler.
Yep. So let's hear what AG said about Jack Campbell.
Let me tell you, first off, he's a man. He's a grown man. And he's really like taking control of this offseason the way he should take control of it. He's a true Mike backer. He's a guy that lives, breathes green dot mentality as a Mike backer. And he's done a really good job of actually, and all our guys have, just transforming their body because they've had a true offseason in the NFL. So he's done a good job with that. And then just watching him on the field, his zone drops, his mentality as far as going after football has been outstanding. We only had 2 days of practice, and he's been doing a heck of a job. And just the way that he's leading the men as far as defense is impressive to see.
How confident are you, James Houston?
Well, that listen. I think in that last part was kind of funny.
That was me. My bad.
But I will.
It's on me.
I will say though on Jack Campbell, I think he should be your best linebacker this year. I know Lucas is a little higher on Anzalone. He's not that he's not high on Jack Campbell. He just thinks Anzalone's still going to be that guy, and I think Anzalone's still a good player.
Yeah.
But you drafted this guy in the first round. I think it's time, right? The first year, he's understanding the defensive schemes. He's getting used to the NFL speed. Guarding NFL legit NFL players, and now it's like, okay, now it's less. It's more reactionary, less thinking. Everything's just happening, and he's just reacting to it. So
slowing down.
Yeah, it's slowing down. So I got big expectations for Jack Campbell, Boone. I do.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm shocked, actually. I'll talk to Lucas about this. I'm a little shocked that he's not a bigger on Jack Campbell, because it feels like, to me, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like it's like the Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery situation, to where we know how good David Montgomery actually is. He's not a bad running back in the league, really good running back in the league. But you just have that guy behind you who you picked in the first round who's got a higher ceiling than you, and his ceiling's way up there. And it feels like it's the same thing for Jack Campbell. It's just not like Jack Campbell's like skills and like his size and everything he can do. We're going to listen to him later. It's his mindset. Like that man is just he's a football guy. Just loves the game of football. And I think this year, I'm going to say it now, and I'll die on this hill. He ends up leading the Detroit Lions in tackles this year by a little bit of a good margin, I think. And I think he ends up playing in the Pro Bowl. And it might be as an alternative or whatever, but I think Jack Campbell this year takes that big step. And you're going to sit there and go, okay, now we have like the fact that we have Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone. This linebacking core is one of the best in the league right now. And like you're going to eventually have to pay Jack Campbell. I think it's going to come down to that. And it's interesting, guys. I want to know what you guys think on this. AG talking about the green dot. Like Jack's he's a Mike Lott. Like that's his position. And that's where he's going to be best at. And like, if the longer you wait to put him there, and like with Anzo or like the whole Derek Barnes, you're holding his ceiling down, and you have to get him in the position you drafted him for, and that's where he's going to be successful at. And giving him that green dot and letting him control this defense, and like it's like what's that one saying from the other guys? Like, I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly. You got to let the man go out there and be what he's about, dude. Jack Campbell should be an All-Pro. Pro Bowler linebacker the next year or two, but as long as you keep him out of his position, you're going to keep pulling them back. And I hope AG realizes it at some point. But I think he's going to be one of the best in the league. I truly do. I'm a Jack Campbell fan.
Hey, A+ reference, by the way. Other guys, great
Thank
movie,
you.
amazing movie. But yeah, I'm with you.
It was just the last play of the 49ers game, just because like. My family knows it because like they are connected to me and like I talk to them on a daily basis, but like the amount of sacrifice it takes from like the whole team to get to that point, and then like some guys like I remember Germ like vividly telling me like I've been in the NFL for 7 years and I haven't even like played in one playoff game, so just having that experience in playoffs is just important. But getting to that next level of the Super Bowl and then winning the Super Bowl, like that's what everyone's here to do, and I feel like that's honestly probably what eats at me the most my first year, just kind of having that not stripped away from me, but just that opportunity was right there, and I feel like I was part of the problem in getting us over that next game. So that's probably what he sent me the most.
That hurt that man to say.
Man, you don't tell.
Responsibility.
First of all, boys, accountability, selflessness, like that is what you want out of a teammate and a football player. Like Jack Campbell is going to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL soon. Him having that mindset, he looked like he was getting emotional. Like he wanted to cry.
At the end, but that's what
he
I said.
put his head
down, like he was in pain.
He put his head down like, man, like Jack Campbell, all he wants to do is bring a Super Bowl to the city of Detroit, and he will do everything in his power, anyone in his way to go and do it. And that's right there, guys, the last 2 months, 3 months, why I've been so high on Jack Campbell, it's because of what's up there and his mindset. And a lot of these guys are starting to learn that in this football team, like Jameson Williams being selfless, like all of these guys. And Jack Campbell coming out and saying what he did there, I think like these guys are motivated ever to go win a Super Bowl. Like I love this football team so much, and to hear a guy like Jack Campbell, who I think could be an all-pro linebacker, to come out there and almost cry and being emotional about losing an NFC Championship game. It was a rookie season, and he says, "I was part of the problem." This is like the guys that Brad Holmes draft that are just on a different level. Andrew Jones this man is just special. He is a different type of human, different type of football player, and you have a lot of them on your football team. I'm a Jack Campbell guy. This man's going to be, and what AG said about him earlier today about how he's going to most likely ends up getting the green dot in the next year or so. Like this guy is going to take a big step. Klotzy, I'm sorry you missed that. You got to go back and watch it because your Anzo things, Jack Campbell's coming for him.
Hey, it'd be something I'd be happy with, Boone. It's just Anzo's a guy that I think is also going to improve. But I mean, seeing Jack say that, they're saying in the chat, but this is where I think you'll see, and I agree with it. I've said this multiple times, that this is Chris Spielman written all over it. To have Chris Spielman, a Detroit Lions legend of a linebacker in there, and Jack Campbell, like I guarantee Chris Spielman is just in Jack Campbell's ear all the time, telling him whether it's good or bad, it's just criticism. I guarantee Jack knows exactly what he needs to be doing with the guy like Alex Anzalone in there. Look like a guy like Kelvin Shepherd coaching him up. We saw what Kelvin Shepherd did with Malcolm Rodriguez and Derek Barnes over the course of his career. Jack Campbell is going to be a stud. Booner, I agree with you. There's most likely Jack Campbell will take over that green dot. I just think it's one of those things where people write off Anzo a little bit, but to your point, he's so fucking talented, dude. He's so talented that
Jack.
Jack. I mean, he's just so athletic. He's so big, and you can just see he's a guy that when he leaves practice, he takes a shower, he eats, and he turns on film, goes to bed, repeat. That's what Jack Campbell does.
And before the other guys go, real quick,
fucking huge. Like he looks like he's aged a little bit. Looks like he's grown up, but he looks even bigger than last year. Like he's put in the work, man. So I'm excited. He's going to be a future star. But go on, Booner.
Klotzy, I threw it out when you were earlier in the show. We were talking about Jack because AG talked about him. I said I'm surprised that you're not kind of on this thing as well, because it reminds me a little bit of the Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery ceiling conversation, to where Jahmyr Gibbs has this ceiling. And D-Mont, we know he's a great running back, but he's like here, and you're on the Jahmyr Gibbs like that. I think it's a similar where like we know what Anzo can be and what he can be. Like his ceiling's here, but it's a great linebacker. Jack Campbell's like he's up here, and if he hits that, it's different. It's a different level. And it's hard to compete with.
As far as intangibles, Booner, I'm 100% with you. The thing where I push back is I think Alex Anzalone is probably one of the top 3 smartest football players on that team. As far as
agreed.
How he adjusts the defensive line, I think pre-snap is where to get that green dot is extremely important, just because of what it represents, and that's where I think Jack has to get more time on the field with.
Wait till Jack gets that though.
Once Jack gets that, then I'm with you 1,000%. That's why it's just with the David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs thing, I feel like that's a completely different type of situation. Anzo's pretty much the quarterback out there. That makes sense.
Once you hear AG comments today, I don't know if you've heard it yet. Throughout the day, you're gonna switch quick because AG said like he's turning into that Mike guy who's controlling the defense.
I'm all for it.
Today the comments today, I almost broke my computer.
You're just over. Hey, I love it, Boone. I love it. I love Jack Campbell.
And I had too much energy.
And I think just to add to this real quick, for Jack Campbell. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's like a distant memory now that they've lost. I just try to forget about it. It's like a bad experience. You just got to get rid of it. I don't know how much of the blame you'd put on Jack but I'm not saying he played his best game, but I do appreciate the accountability. All right. I respect accountability in any player. So for Jack Campbell, go out there. Sorry, Lucas. Be their best linebacker. Kick Anzalone to the curb. All right. Not literally. Okay. Not literally. He can play.
I'm fine with it.
But
that's a good
and I like
problem to have.
Anzalone. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but Jack Campbell, he's a first round pick, man. Buckus Award winner. Go out there and take that green dot. And I think he will.